And that will complete just the regular program.
Okay, let's do a deeper dive. Okay, so we're looking at the unconscious, and you could say, part of what you're doing is you're helping to unwind like neural loops in the body. Could be trauma loop, could be a behavioral loop, could just be a fight flight loop, you know. And your body gets stuck in this like process, and a lot of times why it still feels like it's still happening is it never completed, right? Like, your body goes into fight flight, and then it takes some sort of action, it goes into survival mode, and then it gets stuck there and doesn't discharge that survival energy that was, being sent out throughout the body, and then doesn't go back into a regulated state. And so this is why fight flight is not just, oh, I got triggered by somebody at the grocery store, or I got triggered driving, or, somebody said something, I got really upset. Is there's times where your body goes into these heightened states of fight flight. And then if the body gets stuck in the process or in the cycle, that is what we call trauma in the body, right? This is why it keeps generating emotion and things like that. So the thing that I would like to explore, I just thought this would be interesting, is, we look at the idea of fight flight, but there's also freeze and fawn, right? Freezing meaning you just kind of sit really still and you don't really react because you really can't react. You're in like overwhelm mode, right? And fawning means like adjusting your behavior and emotions and things to try to fit in or try to please a person or a situation. Like if I'm good, they are not going to hurt me, or something of that nature. But you basically kind of step away from yourself to try to fit into a situation. Well, the thing that I'd like to discuss is the freeze mode. We have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. And, freeze sometimes is very straightforward. Like in a situation, I just froze. I didn't know what to do. I got overwhelmed, right? So even the idea of like kind of fuzzy thinking or getting overwhelmed in a situation is associated with this freeze aspect. But what happens is when we're in that state for a long period of time, there's a part of the parasympathetic nervous system that actually kind of shuts down, right? And so um, we're going to go through and address this. And so I think freeze is straightforward, but like this shutdown aspect is that freeze aspect, but chronic, right? It becomes very, very chronic. So, like, I'd give you an example, like the pattern for, if we're in fight, flight, and we're in the freeze mode, we might be incredibly tense, but still. But in the dorsal vagal shutdown, which is the chronic version of that, we're collapsed and numb. We just shut down, right? And then in the freeze mode, our energy is high because we're stuck in fight flight. But when we're in the dorsal vagal shutdown, our energy is actually quite low. It's in conservation mode, like it's trying to conserve energy, right? Because everything's in shutdown mode. So the feeling would be you feel alert, but you're unable to act when you're in the freeze mode. And when you're in the chronic version of it, you're disconnected and you're just like, I'd use the term like offline, like you just can't pull it together. You can't like do something. You could even say forms of procrastination could fall into to this realm. And then in the freeze mode, sometimes what you're doing is I'm freezing because maybe if I take in more information, I might know like how to act. But when you're in the chronic version of it, you're just conserving energy and you're just trying to protect the body, which a lot of time can be a lot of tension in the body, but not with a lot of action or activity, right? In some people, this could manifest as chronic fatigue syndrome and fibromyalgia. But other people, it could be like a kind of depression, an area where you're just kind of checked out, you just have the blahs. It could be all kinds of issues. And so, how do we unwind this dorsal vagal shutdown or chronic freeze mode? There's a blend called unconscious. So if you're just joining us and you don't have the unconscious blend, you could still use Sitka, Douglas fir, Larch, St. John's wort wouldn't work. Myrtle would work. Tolu balsam would work.
Someone's wondering, will poplar balsam work?
Poplar actually won't do it here. Yeah, I know poplar's so delicious. You want to use it for everything. I'm right there with you on that one. But Hyssop decumbens would work better than regular hyssop, but regular hyssop might even work for this somewhat.
Okay, well, let's
see what you guys
Yeah.
got. Okay, so we're going to do kind of a little bit of a kind of transmutation, but we want to focus on certain areas in the body before we go through and do it, right? So the very first thing we want to do is we want to be aware of the ball of light, the circle of light around us, right? So close your eyes and just visualize the ball of light. Oh, fun. So you're being aware of the ball of light around you, or at least you're visualizing that image. If that doesn't work, just be aware of the space, within a couple feet of your body all the way around you. And as you're doing that, take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths with the oil that you're using. And then just let that go. Now, you're going to be aware of the vertebrae in your upper back. So the vertebrae that's between your shoulder blades, be aware of those vertebrae right there as you take nice, long, slow, deep breaths with the oil. And pause and be still. Just pause and be still. Just let it incubate for a moment. Still on that upper back, your awareness is on that upper back. Take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths with the oil, with your awareness on that upper back area between your shoulder blades. And just pausing and being still. Now you're going to do your mid back. So below your shoulder blades, all the way down to about the backside of your navel, like that little area in there. Your awareness of the vertebrae, you're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just pause. Again, your awareness is on the mid spine. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Let's just have you pause and be still. How's that feeling? Huh. Mhm. Okay, so we're kind of doing a little bit of a reset on some nerves, but now we're also going to do a little transmutation, right? So your awareness is on the sex chakra. You're using the same oil. Take nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the sex chakra. Now, move your awareness to the back heart, that area between your shoulder blades. Now, move your awareness to the back throat, the middle of the back of your neck. And then your brain, your awareness is on the brain. And then the very top of your head. And then pause and let it go. Mm-hmm. Stronger when you do the spine with it. You do the upper and middle spine, and then you do the transmutation. Now, again, visualize the ball of light. You're just letting everything go. You're letting everything go. Just be still. Feels nice, yeah. Okay, we're going to do another quick cycle of it. We're going to talk about it, and then we're going to still try to squeeze in another piece. Okay, so again, your upper back. Your awareness is on your upper back. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just let go, be still, and let go. Now do your mid back. Below the shoulder blades, all the way down to the back side of the navel. Your awareness is on that area of your spine. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then let that go. Begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Move your awareness to the back heart, that area between your shoulder blades. Your back throat, the middle of the back of your neck. And then the brain. Your awareness is on the brain. the top of your head, the crown. And just letting go. Now visualize the ball of light. You're visualizing the ball of light. You're inhaling nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And just pause and be still. Okay, let's share experiences, ask questions, and with whatever time we have left, we're going to do another process. But let's go ahead and process this together. How did you feel, by the way?
I mean, my spine relaxed, my heart expanded on the first round. I think my low back actually feels a little better right now. But that last ball of light and then releasing, I mean, I felt like I went to another universe for a second.
Yeah.
So that was really neat.
Nice. This is putting the fight flight mechanism like under the microscope and going, if we dissect this and look at the different pieces of dysregulation and chronic dysregulation, how do we unwind this in our body? Again, stepping away from a symptom oriented approach, like this is happening, let's do something for it. It's like, no, let's recondition the body so we stop going to this state or we stop lingering in a state because the body didn't go through and finish a neurological process, which is a loop, you know. And so,
Yeah, go ahead, Denise.
hey.
Yeah, well, it came at a really good time. I've been working with a counselor, and has said, it really sounds like you have functional freeze. And so it was just last week. So this came at a very
Yeah, I would say it's a different name for what we're talking about.
yeah, and
Functional freeze, I like that. That works too. Yeah.
yeah, I really well, and it really fit. I mean, so many ways. So I was very very grateful, and for you to bring this up this evening is just a blessing, truly a blessing.
Funny how like the little synchronicities work out, huh?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. But you said putting the fight flight mechanism under a microscope. And then what was the second part of that? It was
Starting to dissect the different pieces of fight flight. Here we're doing freeze, but over the next several weeks, we're gonna like fine tune and look at each of these different little pieces and go, how do we address these specific pieces? Because we look at it as like a symptom and we go through and we kind of treat it and it feels better. But when we're doing a really deep look at dysregulation, I mean, it increases or accelerates the aging process. It causes the dysfunction or disease in the body. It makes us feel sick. It makes us not rested. It affects our emotions, our thoughts. And we don't really realize how dysregulated something is until we really start looking at the different pieces. And you're like, yeah, I have 90% of these symptoms, like, because it's chronic, it's been there for a while. And a
yeah,
lot of times we'll go, well, this is just my personality. It's like, no, it's your nervous system that got dysregulated. Your personality doesn't really even get to come out. Your personality is on a holding pattern because the different parts of the nervous system are in a dysregulated state.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Greg. It makes
You're
so
so
much
welcome.
sense. I'm really gonna look forward to this whole
Yeah,
thing. Okay, have a great evening.
you're so
Okay, that's just really funny because one of the things after the first cycle, I was like, looked around, I was like, I feel different, you
Mhm.
know? And it's like your personality gets to come out, you
Yeah.
know, after you.
Your personality a lot of times will take a back seat to the dysregulation of the sympathetic nerves. I mean, it really does. Or the shutdown, like here we're talking about the shutdown of the vagus nerve, so vagal tone. And so, you know, if we keep unwinding some of this, we keep realizing like, ugh, my nervous system's been a mess since, you know, like when I look at it, I can almost see the times where the nervous system became a little bit of a mess. And then it just stayed that way for a really long time. And for me, like I would say, mine is better, but there's still areas when I go through and I'm reading my notes, I'm like, I have like 80 or 90% of some of these symptoms that, like, you know, I'm joking with Denise, but not really. You know, but I feel better than I used to, but still there's greater potential for me to feel better, for all of us to feel better, when we go through and we look at these different pieces and we go like, oh, that's been wonky for a really long time, and we just took it as this is me, this is my personality, this is the way I do things, and it's like, nope, it's just neurological loops that we now call our personality, but it's not really our personality.
Well, and I feel like doing it, it's like, oh, I got that layer. And then I go out into the world and I'm like, okay, another thing to
Mhm.
clean up. So, yeah. Someone shared getting quite warm.
Oh, that's a good sign. That a lot of times means you're coming out of the shutdown. Like your body will start warming up, and no, that's actually a very good sign. Okay, so still kind of, excuse me, tackling that same idea. We're going to go at it by a very different route, right? Again, we have our senses, right? We have the eyes, the sense of smell, the taste, the hearing, and then, you know, the sense of touch is the face or the whole head. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a process with the eyes, but then putting our awareness on the eyes and some different areas of our body. And this again helps to unwind this vagal dorsal shutdown or chronic freeze mode. So you're going to still use your same oil. Your awareness is on your eyes and your front solar plexus, both at the same time. So your eyes, front solar plexus, which is below your ribs on your upper abdomen, and you're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Okay, let that go. Just let it go for a moment. Now, eyes and back solar plexus, both at the same time. How's that feeling? Yeah. Okay, let it go for a moment. Just let it incubate. Your awareness is on your eyes and your navel at the same time. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the eyes and the navel. Okay, let that go. Your awareness is on your spleen, the left-hand side of your body below the ribs. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're letting that go. You're just being still. How's it treating you? Okay, your eyes and your low back, the back side of your navel, known as the Meng. And then let that go. Your awareness is on your eyes and your sex chakra, both at the same time. Your eyes and sex chakra. And then pause and let it go. Now, you're letting go of the eyes. You're not doing that anymore. But what you are doing is you're just going to simply put your awareness on the center of your chest, the front heart. Your awareness is on the front heart. Take some nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Let the oil with your awareness between or in the center of your chest. Yeah, move your awareness to the back heart, that area between your shoulder blades. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then just pause and be still. Just being still. Let's go ahead and have a share or a question. We have a few minutes before we got to jump over to Astara. So let's try to fit in what we can.
Well, that one knocked me out. When we did the eyes part, I couldn't even open my eyes. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Greg. So the last day or two, I've been dealing with symptomatic things with my eyes, dry and scratchy and irritated. And so I've been doing the usual symptomatic things, take some Shazandra, up my quercetin, eye drops. And as soon as you said we're going to do something with the eyes, it was like they just started changing. And it's not everything's gone, but it's not like there's this, it's like there's something in front of me that's gone. I can see for real.
Right, right. Like if you think about it, like the senses being tied to like our nervous system and how we process things, we look at it as like, okay, I have dry eye, I have allergies or something that could cause it. But if you look at allergy, it's an exaggerated response. It's an exaggerated immune response, but it's an immune response that's also exaggerated in the nervous system. And so the idea of like calming it down is not just like, oh, it's calming down my nervous system, but it's even the sense of sight can have a kind of dysregulation that can affect the eyes, but it could also affect the rest of the body. And we could have done the nose and the nostrils and the tongue and the ears and the whole head and everything, but for this particular practice, I always find that the eyes are the most potent. Like there's something about the eyes, and we process a lot more of the world probably through our eyes than anything else. And so, if you're in danger, you're looking around like, what's going to get me, or is this okay, or and a lot of it is in the unconscious. Even though we might be slightly aware of it, we don't realize how much tension is there until we start making it go away, and then you're like, oh my God, you know.
And I yawned through almost the
Yeah.
whole
Oh,
thing. Sometimes the yawning, I was exhaling on the yawn. Sometimes I was
yeah.
inhaling on the yawn. I didn't know they both existed, but I obviously do.
I would
So,
say keep doing this last piece, like you could use the unconscious, you could use some of those oils that are the single oils. Unconscious would be the strongest.
okay.
And keep unwinding that aspect. And if you look at the idea of freeze, the body's trying to conserve energy, and sometimes it might be going into freeze mode because the immune system is hyper reactive, or hyper vigilant, or has an exaggerated response. And so some of what the body tries to do to calm it down is like, go, okay, this might not be freeze because somebody at work behaved a particular way. It might be that I'm in chronic freeze state because something is going on somewhere else in my body, and my body is trying to calm that down in some particular way. And so it goes into this like chronic freeze state that then produces whatever results that it produces.
Are there any other auric programming oils that could be done with the same pattern? Would it make any sense?
Protection,
Okay,
transmutation, and behavior support.
okay. Thank you very much.
Because they would be fight, flight, freeze, fawn.
Okay, that
Like
makes
those
sense.
4 oils. Like you could do that as also as a stack. Protection, transmutation, unconscious, and then behavior support.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. And then we have to jump over. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight. I thought it was a good session. But anyway, so we're going to go over to Astara and do the prayer petition blessing. If you want to do a little 15-minute little meditation and blessing, join us. And if not, remember we have our 7 o'clock tomorrow doing the practice for a deeper dive into the lymphatic system. And it might be a little bit in the vein of what we did tonight for hypothetically. So anyway,